All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today, so let's get straight into it here. The first story that I have for you guys today, Big Ramy. Is there a chance we might still see Big Ramy on the Olympia stage? Now, Big Ramy did an interview recently on the Dragon Pharma YouTube channel, which he references in this post, and in that interview, he essentially took kind of a tone or an attitude of saying, I would like to do the Olympia in 2020, but with all the circumstances that are basically working against me, I'll probably see you guys next year, was basically the tone of the interview. So it looked like there was a high probability we weren't going to see Big Ramy at this year's Mr. Olympia because keep in mind, he has not yet technically qualified for the Olympia. Now, in this post, he goes on to clarify about that interview. So he says, guys, many people saw my last YouTube video on the Dragon Pharma LLC YouTube channel, and I'm thankful for that and all the nice comments. I just want to clarify something I said regarding the current situation in the world and the closed borders. I am beginning my preparation from now to be ready to jump in any show that will be made before the Mr. Olympia to be able to qualify, hopefully, for this December. This is not in our hands anymore. This is the first time in history that something like this has happened. So we got to keep the positivity and prayer so everything can get back to normal very fast. Bicep, dragon emoji. So look, I definitely want to see Big Ramy compete at the Olympia. I think everyone at the Olympia wants Big Ramy to compete at the Olympia. Now, technically right now, Big Ramy is towards the top of the point standings. In fact, let's go ahead and slide over right now and look at the point standings. So Lucas Osladil is in the lead with 10 points, Big Ramy in second with 9, and Regan Grimes in third with 8. So what does this mean? Well, if these point standings don't change at all, Big Ramy could technically go to the Olympia on points. The top 3 in the point standings get to go to the Olympia. But if Big Ramy doesn't compete between now and December, you've got the New York Pro, the Boston Pro, the Cali Pro, the Tampa Pro. You've got the Monster Zim Pro. There's a couple international shows mixed in there. There's a bunch of pro shows between now and December, and those point standings are going to change. So if Big Ramy doesn't compete between now and then, he's likely going to be out of that top 3. So yes, I'll say it again, if those standings do not change, he could go to the Olympia, but they are going to change. So essentially, to get to the Olympia, he has to compete. And like he said in his post, the problem that he's going to have is travel restrictions, border restrictions. I don't think he would be able to get into America anytime soon. Now, if we're talking about international shows, you do have the Monster Zim Pro, which is towards the end of August. But they say in their post, it looks like a very sophisticated process. If you're an international traveler going to South Korea, there's a 14-day mandatory isolation period for all travelers. So if you were going to compete in this Monsters in Pro and you're from another country, you would basically have to be in South Korea for 2 weeks minimum prior to the show. And how many guys are really going to do that? And I'm assuming you're going to be looking at a pretty similar situation for any other international competitions that are going to be out there. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Maybe the one in Prague. I don't know. But you do have the Monster Zim coming up. Hopefully Ramy finds a way to qualify for the Olympia. But again, at this point, I think it's looking in the direction of he's probably not going to be able to get there. But it's good to know that he is ready and he is prepared in case the opportunity does arise. So I guess he's just clarifying that if he can compete, he will. He's not completely ruling it out yet. All right, so speaking of competitions, we are less than a week away from the Tampa Pro. This is going to be the first pro show happening in the IFBB now that things are trying to get back to normal. So the Tampa Pro, they put out one competitor list. Now they've put out an updated competitor list for men's open bodybuilding. So I wanted to go over that really quickly. Basically, they just added Ian Vier, but you've got Philip Klahar, Samson Dowda, Ronald Gordon, Dorian Haywood, Kenneth Jackson, Matt Kuba, Hunter Labrada, Justin Mackey, Seth Shaw, Jorge Trejo Rejas, Ian Vier, and Dwayne Walker. So like I said in the last video, we knew that Ian was doing this show. It was just weird that his name wasn't on the list. His name's on the list now, but now he has to actually get to Tampa from Canada. Again, this international travel thing is going to throw a wrench in a lot of people's plans. Now, supposing this is the official list, that confuses me a bit because Patrick Moore recently posted confirming that he is going to be doing the Tampa Pro, or that's at least what he's shooting for. He put up some posts where he was kind of hinting at it, but it looks like he is intending on doing that show now. All right, so I have to jump in here and edit this video really quick because I just saw RX Muscle post that Patrick Moore is out of the Tampa Pro. So I'm actually messaging Patrick right now, and Patrick did essentially confirm to me that he's not doing the Tampa Pro. But right now I'm trying to convince him to do it anyway. He's essentially saying, look, I think I'm going to be about 80%, but I think I'm going to be better. No, he says, I know I'm going to be better here if I did Tampa than I looked at the Arnold, but he wants to be 110%, so he's going to wait for a show down the line, maybe a New York Pro, maybe a Cali Pro. But I said to him this, I said, look, even if you're only 80% at Tampa Pro, you've got a good shot at winning this show. In addition to that, that's great if you want to look 110% at the Cali Pro, New York Pro. The way things are going, what if those shows don't happen and you never get the opportunity to compete again in 2020? At least we know at this point, anything could change in a week's time, but we're less than a week away from the Tampa Pro. It looks like the Tampa Pro is happening no matter what. I think it's safe to say the Tampa Pro is going to happen. I want to see Patrick do that show. So if you want to see Patrick Moore compete in the Tampa Pro, comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Message Patrick. Tell him in his comment section. Tell him to do this show, man. We need some entertainment. The Tampa Pro's here. We know it's happening. Let's make this show as good as possible. And I think Patrick Moore in that lineup makes that show a better show. And I think Patrick knows that too. And he's watching this, and he's thinking about doing it. Convince him. But between you and me, I don't think he's out. I think he wants to do it. So convince him. Let's see Patrick compete at the Tampa Pro. Thing is, nobody really knows what's going on. Nobody knows what shows are going to be canceled. Nobody knows what shows they're going to be able to get to. Nobody knows what shows are even still going to happen, if they're going to go on as scheduled. A lot of these bodybuilders don't really know what they're doing, so they can't really set their sights on a show because who knows if it's going to happen. So Patrick, the way I see it, he's kind of been staying in relatively decent shape and hoping a show would come along that he thought he could do well at. This isn't like the Olympia where guys know exactly when it's going to be. Well, that didn't apply to this year. Typically, they know exactly when the Olympia is going to be, and a lot of Olympia competitors take the whole year to prepare for the Olympia. I think what you're going to see at a lot of these upcoming pro shows is bodybuilders just winging it. If a bodybuilder's in kind of good shape, I think they're going to jump in whatever shows they can to try to nab that Olympia qualification, because who knows who's going to be able to go to the Olympia. So you might have a bodybuilder that's not as good, or typically not as good, as the usual top 10 at the Olympia, but that bodybuilder is able to get to the Olympia, travel to the Olympia, qualify to the Olympia, and compete at the Olympia. That bodybuilder could be top 6 at the Olympia when he otherwise never would be, and top 6 at the Olympia carries along with it some money, baby. So make no mistake, there is hella incentive for these bodybuilders to qualify for the Olympia. So don't think we're not going to see anybody competing at these upcoming shows, because we will. Even if some of them get canceled, the shows that do happen, there's going to be people competing. But anyway, the point that I was getting at there was Patrick says he's competing in Tampa, but his name was not on that list. So take from that what you will. All right, let's make a little transition here. Let's talk about curls again, because after I made my video yesterday, you guys sent me some current videos of some very impressive curls that I had not yet seen, and I wanted to share them with you guys because I thought you would get a kick out of them. So let's get straight into it here. Our first miracle worker, Peter Petros. Now, Peter, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, you can see him here curling 160 kilograms, cheat curling I should say, for 3 reps. Now, why is that significant? Because 160 kilograms is the equivalent of 352.7 pounds. Now, we talked in my video yesterday about Bill Kazmaier, the legend of him curling 440, and how unrealistic that seemed. Well, it doesn't seem that unrealistic when you can see this guy curling 350 plus for reps and not looking to struggle too incredibly hard with it. So shout out to Peter Petros. Now, also, our boy Iron Biby has his own video doing some curls. Now, this was a little while ago. This isn't a very recent video. This was shot back in May, I believe, so before the whole strict curl hype started to happen. This is 242.5 pounds or 110 kilograms, and he curls it for sets of 8. Now, Iron Biby, obviously, this guy's a beast. He says his goal is 400 pounds cheat curl, misses training with CT Fletcher, who obviously is the godfather of the curl. So very impressive if he one day does get 400 pounds. I want to see you do that very soon, Iron Biby. If you're watching this, Film that 400. Give me something to talk about in the next news video, and power through it, man. Just get it done. Man, you can't tell me these guys don't make you want to train biceps. I want to go just do some curls right now. But let's get to the final story, shall we? So Phil Heath, we rarely ever hear from Phil Heath. We rarely get any updates from Phil Heath. But he posted on his other Instagram page, Phil Heath Labs, which is his new supplement company. He posted a training video, supposedly a recent training video, which we almost never see. So assuming this is a recent training video and this is what his recent physique is looking like, it adds fuel to the fire of the speculation whether or not we're going to see Phil make a comeback at the 2021 Mr. Olympia. Now, some people think he's going to do it in 2020. I am not one of those people. I think Phil will compete next year when everything is certain, everything is set in stone, and we have a solid schedule, and we know exactly when everything is going to be happening. This year, everything is so uncertain. Who knows if the Olympia is even going to happen? Who knows if fans will be allowed to attend? And if fans aren't allowed to attend, you know Phil doesn't want to win in front of no fans. He wants everyone to see that he came back, proved everybody wrong, and got that number 8. He wants there to be audience. He wants there to be an applause. He wants there to be people cheering. When he ties the Olympia record, that would be his 8th. So if you ask me, I don't think we're seeing Phil in 2020, but a lot of people were sending me this video saying, man, Phil is looking damn good in this video. It looks like he could be, about to prepare for a show, and what other show could he be preparing for than the 2020 Mr. Olympia? Anything is possible, but I don't think we're going to see Phil there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, though. Do you think we're going to see Phil compete in 2020 at the Olympia or not? He is qualified. Obviously, he's a Mr. Olympia champion, so he's qualified for life. He does not have to compete before the Olympia. He can just show up. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you did, in fact, enjoy it. Subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet already. And as always, Nick Strength and Power signing out.